What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are doing good. I'm doing so fantastic back here in Chicago. I'll say that I will even do so much better if I was in Kenya. But I have two homes and I have to give credits to the US because also there's some opportunities I get in America that I won't get anywhere else in the world, as much as I get some stuff in Kenya. So I try to balance both of them, to play with them so I can benefit or I can be a beneficiary of both dynamics. So that's magic, and I hope whatever you are, you're having a good time. To my subscribers, always good to see you. I'm back into posting back to back, so just want to let you know, expect more from me. There's a trip coming, few trips coming in the next 3 weeks. I'm gonna go back to Africa and do lots of adventures, travel around. I'm gonna document all these places and then obviously share with you guys, and I hope you will love it. Today is a different day for me. I just felt like it would be nice to talk about some few things that I've really encountered in my journey as a traveler. I do travel a lot, and mostly in Africa. I'll say, to be particular, East Africa, and to be extra particular, to Kenya. I was born and raised in Kenya, and actually I never appreciated Kenya until when I left, because they say that you want what you don't have, and that ended up happening to me. And then after that, I just fell in love with the country. And every time I go back, I explore as much as I can. So I feel like I have a very deeper connection with Kenya, more than I did when I used to live there. And during these trips, I have met people of different kinds, different backgrounds, different races. And as a business owner, if you guys don't know, I also own a tour company called Mizizi Asili Adventures, where we do safaris and all cultural exposure for the people from the West, mostly, to be particular, US, Europe, Canada, and then show them what Africa really is. And our topic today actually kind of lies on that line there. What is Africa? Because there's some lies that kind of go through around the world of what Africa is. And it's very funny because I feel like most of them are lies, or some of them can be truth, but doesn't mean that all of them are lies. Or maybe it happened at some time or at some point in life, but it doesn't mean that those kind of things are still happening even right now. So one of the major lies that you guys hear, I think you guys know, is that Africa is just a jungle. And for me, according to me, I don't really mind if Africa was a jungle, because the jungle, if you guys have a nice place, nice food in the jungle, why will you be angry? I know with globalization, things have changed and people talk about skyscrapers and apartments and stuff. So people try to compare themselves to the Western way of development. And I feel like Africans should not look up to West to see how they can develop themselves. I feel like Africa can develop themselves in their own African way, more than looking at the West. So many people in the West, actually, they think that we live in the jungle, and we wake up in the morning, there's a lion laying next to your door, and if you're lucky, you might get eaten. Or there's mosquitoes in Africa, like lethal, they bite you, you die, all kind of stuff. And if you think of it, in some places it's kind of true. Like there's this place I go called Sekenani. This is close to Masai Mara. I can't lie, I stay in a camp there, and few times I've seen a giraffe pass, but they stay in like national parks or like animal reserves. The other time we saw elephants while I was seated there, but it was beautiful because that was a tourist attraction site. It wasn't just like a neighborhood and all of a sudden there's lions, elephants, and giraffes. But even if it happened, so be it. Why should we be ashamed if all these beautiful animals walk in our neighborhoods? Me, I don't care. Whatever they say. The second thing that many people think of Africa is just we have so much war, and governments are being changed, and there's a coup, or like there's a general of the all kind of stuff. You see how they talk about the Middle East, which I understand. They think that Africa is like the way it used to be. I'll touch my camera for a second. Africa used to be in the 80s, and all this instability or political instability were mostly fueled by the Western nations, because after colonizations they had to put like enemies together to run these countries, or sometimes they would like do things to make these governments fall. So it was all orchestrated by the outsiders. So some people think that we're still in that state. We have political tensions as it is in every other part of the world. So, like in Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, we have all this news. They happen, but after a while, we go back to our normal life. Another thing that many people think, and this is actually towards African, I mean Western women. Western women think that they are the most beautiful people, and they will be like the baddest. If they travel to Africa, they'll be the baddest in the continent. Man, I just want to tell you this, if you don't know. One of the most beautiful human beings in this planet are people from Africa, and black people to be general. I don't want to be racist. I know I already sound racist, but if you think deeper of real beauty, I think black people are the most beautiful people in the whole entire planet, as much as white people. But if white people are beautiful in their own way, there's very beautiful white people for sure. But if some white people think that they're the most beautiful people, so if they go to Africa, they can get anybody, no. Yes, you will, but it's because of how Africans were subjected to this racist idea that they're not beautiful. They were taught that, and they taught their grandparents. The grandparents taught the parents taught the kids taught the kids, and so it's like a generational issue that many Africans actually still struggle with. I know they talk about like, why do African women or black women in general wear white people hair? Those are the kind of debates that we have to teach Africans that they're so beautiful. I had a friend of mine. She was a girl, and we flew to Kenya, and so she said, I want to go out and enjoy my time before I sleep, because she was a little bit jet lagged. That's the first day she flew to Kenya. And then she said, I want to go to a nightclub. I think I might meet someone. What do you think? I said, yeah, sure, no problem. We went to this place, walked in. She was shocked. She's never seen beautiful people like that. Like, nobody paid attention on her. And she thought she was rich and white. And she was there by herself the whole time. And she got so intimidated. I can use that word. She got so intimidated. And I looked at her, and I sensed it. I sensed it, but I never talked about it. And then she kept saying that I'm so jealous. Why are these people looking at me like this? I want to go home. And I was like, whoa, okay. But, maybe she went there with the wrong reason. So if you go to Africa with those kind of mentality, you might be very, very, very surprised. Another thing is, people think that Africa is just full of diseases. Well, there's diseases everywhere. There's cancer in the West. If we have malaria in Africa, there's all kind of diseases everywhere. The diseases attack your body according to the local realities. Like I can tell you the rate of cancer in Africa is not as much as it is in the US because of the organic and natural food. And I can also say, like, okay, in Kenya we might have some parts where we have malaria because we have some, water catchment areas that might have mosquitoes with malaria, and the weather kind of gives those mosquitoes. But like, vaccines are coming, so we should not like point each other out or just try to diminish other people. Something else that people think about is illiteracy. I understand, if you talk about illiteracy, what is that? Because people who call Africans illiterate, they want Africans to do things like them, like the West. They want you to speak English like the way we're doing now. They want you to eat with a fork and knife like the English people. They want you to know all the country songs in America. They want you to know the latest Western trend or the code or the design. I'm like, but what about the African culture that you guys are ignoring? I really don't understand it. So I feel like everybody is unique in their own way. Whether you're white, black, Asian, whatever you are, you're unique in your own way. And Africans should be proud of themselves. They should start to be proud of who they are. They should be proud of their reality, and they should have so much courage while expressing themselves. I tend to find this is a challenge that I see many Africans go through is every time I'm in Kenya and then they see a white person, they sometimes they get intimidated, or over they become overly kind. Well, maybe they think they have money, they might get money because everybody thinks Americans are so rich all over the world. So it's something that I try to talk to my friends, to think about, because it's actually a lie. I know many Americans who are poor. The Americans who think are rich are the ones who are like go traveling all over the world, but they have their money. That's their money saved. Or some people actually go to Africa, just they save a little bit money and then they go there because some countries the exchange rate is cheap, so they can spend more money there. Or they have like a cloud because he's from the US, he can just tell a girl, hey, I'm from the US, date me. And it's kind of like cool for people from that part of, like, I'll say Africa, global South, to date someone from the States, because or even from Europe, because people think that they are of a different caliber. Yeah, so I'm really working so hard into always reminding myself of who I am as an African or as a black person in the planet, and the amount of dignity I have and intelligence and all the beautiful attributes I can think about. Because for a long time we were just taught that, Africans or black people, you're not special, just wait a little bit, go bleach your skin, cut your hair is not beautiful. All these kind of crazy things that we hear on the media and we'll just hear in our neighborhoods. And now I feel like Africans or black people in general should also embrace who they are and be dignified in their own ways, and love their skin and love their languages and love your accent and love your food and love your countries, because you'll never have another country. All these things. Anyway, I can talk and 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 talk. And I don't want to do that because it's late. As you can see, I'm in my office. I was working a lot and preparing for the trip. So I just want to let you know, prepare yourself because we're going to have a blast. This week on Thursday, actually, I'm going to vlog. I'm going to show you guys an African musical event in Chicago, how it looks like, how beautiful it is. So I'm going to take you there and see that. I'm just going to try to see if you guys might be excited to seeing how also Africans or black people in general kind of like spend their time in the US and do their own gigs. Because I know I showcase mostly Kenya or things in the continent. But anyway, I think I'll end up stopping there, my people. But until next time, please stay safe and love yourself. And this also includes white people, Asians, and everybody. Don't feel like I left you out. Adios.